Which one of the two following solos do you like better? All right. So I think the answer is pretty clear. We can make a vote. I mean, post your opinion in the comments below. Yeah, but the main question is, for most of you watching this probably, how do we get from A to B? How do we do it? What's the difference between A and B? Can you write it on a piece of paper? Not only like make some vague thoughts, write it down on a piece of paper and compare it with the stuff that I'm gonna tell you now in this YouTube lesson. Because chances are it's a little bit different of what you think it is. And that's exactly why it's good to work with a teacher. It's good to have someone that can give you feedback on your playing, because there's some stuff that you don't know. Someone came to tell it to you at some point. Yeah? I had my own teachers too. It's not like I woke up one day and suddenly knew all that stuff. I just had some really, really great teachers over the years. So one way to learn more about these strategies that I keep talking about here on my YouTube channel is to get my Total Guitar Transformation book. Because the book has most of the strategies in a written form. There's some diagrams, there's some tabs with it, there are some tasks to complete. So it's almost like someone giving you homework. Yeah, it's a great way to get started, to start thinking differently about improvising and starting to have more options in your playing. That's my big advice for you here. But let's get started here with today's lesson. So let's analyze really quick what's really the difference between the first solo and the second solo. You got your notes written down? Well, I'm going to tell you what the first thing is that comes to my mind. The first thing that comes to my mind is that in the first solo, I was just thinking about the scale. I was just thinking about the notes that I was playing, and I wasn't really making music. Even though my timing was okay, was nothing wrong with it. You know, I had a little bit of swing feel at sometimes. And even the subdivisions were correct. You know, I played 16th notes, I played 8th notes. There was not my technique, you know, it was not like I was being sloppy or my tone was really bad. That was all not the problem. It was just the focus was just on playing the right notes. And this is just not the way to make music. In the second example, on the other hand, I had a different mindset. Yeah? I was thinking more about my phrasing, if you noticed. Yeah? So when I think more about my phrasing, what I really mean by that? That means I think more about my rhythm. I think more about rhythmical motives. I think more about shaping the notes that I'm playing. I'm going to give you an example just in a second here. Yeah? If you're not really strong with your musical phrasing, then I think one of the best ways to get started with that would be just to imitate and learn a few licks. And I'm going to give you some licks here in a little while that you can just learn and get them under your fingers. Build your vocabulary, build your phrasing vocabulary, because then you will also start hearing things differently than you are at the moment. Yeah? You might just be hearing the scale at the moment. So let's have a look at this. All right, so here we got a very simple groove, right? Just around C7. We can play the C minor pentatonic over it. I'm gonna pick just a simple rhythm and I'm gonna try to move this around. Yeah? Notice that I'm not starting the rhythm on the 1 and then see where I'm taking it, okay? All right, here we go. So here we got our first great strategy is to pick one rhythmical motive, one rhythmical cell, whatever you want to call it, and try to move that rhythmical cell around. Change the notes, change the phrasing ever so slightly, and keep developing that rhythmical cell or rhythmical motive and try to build a story. You can later on start, put in some variation, make it longer, take it somewhere else. But even to just practice to think in that way in terms of motives and phrasing, that's going to be a game changer, yeah? If you usually don't think like that. Yeah, so that's a great strategy. Now, this is all pretty much useless if you don't have the right foundations in place yet, yeah? What do I mean by that? Well, you need to be able to bend in tune. You need to be able to play a reference note like this. I'm going to put on a drone here. You're going to need to be able to just play a C note and then bend to it. If you can't do that reliably, you're always going to be stuck on that level, basically. Yeah? So get your bendings in order, very important. Yeah, and then also slides. You want to be able to. You want to be able to slide into a note from both above and beyond. We could be talking about vibrato and other stuff here, Obviously, there's many parts to phrasing, but I don't want to get too sidetracked too much. This should be part of another lesson. So today, let's keep our focus on the phrasing, actually. And I want to show you 3 phrases, like I promised, that will give you new ideas of how to phrase and how to be melodic. Here we go. Let me do this slower too. So. All right, so you got 3 licks now. And you might be thinking like, okay, so what do I do with these 3 licks? Well, first you gotta learn them, yeah? And then the next part, which a lot of guitarists don't seem to grasp, is it's not about how many licks you know. It's really about how many ways you know to implement a lick into an actual solo. So you want to be able to change the lick rhythmically, use a different subdivision, and you want to be able to start the lick in different places rhythmically, on different parts of the beat. If this all sounds like Chinese to you, which could be because I don't know you, then I want to urge you again, get the book and also fill out an application below for our TGT Academy. And depending on where you are in your level, I'm gonna send you more resources, and we're just gonna start this process of helping you to get up to speed on all these things. Because time is too short to not to know these foundations. That's really important. All right, so let me go and demonstrate a solo with using just these 3 lick fragments and see where it takes me. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm gonna have some fun with this backing track here. And I want you to not only listen to this YouTube lesson, watch it, but also make some notes and then take the backing track that I'm gonna post a link below here. Take that backing track and jam over it and focus on your phrasing. Because chances are you are not using your fullest potential on that particular aspect of your playing. Promise? All right, do it. And if you want to work with me, then fill out an application down here below. I'll talk to you soon. Keep rocking.